It is Tuesday, the 8th of November, 2022. We're looking at the full moon, and it does appear to be partially eclipsed on the upper part of it. I think perhaps in the outer part of the moon's shadow. So we're just going to let the video run. And I don't see the point of taking still photos at this point in time, and I think video of the moon setting through the frame and becoming increasingly eclipsed is probably the best approach. I do have another camera, so I may well take some photos with the other camera. The camera we're using right now is a Nikon D810. I have it set to the base ISO of 64. I just noticed I have the color balance set to cloudy, which might not be the best thing. I may change that. There's still plenty of time to change that. It'll give it a somewhat brownish tinge, but if I set it to daylight, it might actually be a little bit too on the blue side, so I think we'll stick with what we got for the time being. The aperture is f11, down from the maximum aperture of f5.6 on a 400mm Nikkor EDIF manual focus lens in the late 1970s, early 1980s. Shutter speed is currently 1/100th of a second, and I'm definitely seeing that the upper part of the moon is somewhat darker than the lower part. So that's actually, I'm not even sure if that's, yeah, anyway, I would have thought that as the moon comes into the Earth's shadow, that they would probably be dark on the lower part, but I didn't do enough pre-eclipse research this time. There's a lot of other stuff to do. Definitely appears darker towards the top, yet the moon is setting. Well, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. So we got a little over 17 minutes of recording time left, but I think the moon will move through the frame rather quicker than that. I see it's descending at a fairly steep angle, so it's not going to be going across the frame. I probably should have centered this video in a way where the moon is actually closer to the middle when it's at the top, because it looks like it's going to go down through the left side of the frame. Yeah, do I want to reframe everything? I think it might actually be better for me to just start all over again. I mean, the eclipse is not all that advanced. The moon's already halfway through the frame. I could just reposition the camera while continuing to record. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to reposition the camera, and all I really need to do is just lower it. I don't need to shift from side to side. I'm just going to lower the camera so the moon is closer to the top again. So there we go. We'll let the, whoops, it is. You got a little too close to the top there. So yeah, we're gonna let the moon descend through the frame here. Definitely appears darker on top than it does at the bottom, which is a bit surprising to me, because I would have thought that as it's setting and falling into the Earth's shadow, that it would get darker below. So I don't know what's going on there. We'll just keep watching. So we got a little under 15 minutes of recording time left in this video clip. We're just going to let the camera roll. Again, f11, hundredth of a second, ISO 64, which is the lowest ISO that this camera can go to without getting into special settings. It's the base ISO. You can set lower, but in real terms, this is the lowest ISO in terms of the actual sensitivity of the sensor, and gives the highest image quality. So we're just going to let that roll. I wasn't able to fine-tune the focus, but it should be pretty bang on, and it's stopped down to f11, as I said, so there's a fair bit of depth of field there, even if the focus is slightly off. I'm just noticing that it's appearing to be slightly past infinity mark on the lens. Looks very sharp on the screen though. But anyway, I think we're pretty much in focus, and for this clip anyway, we're just gonna let things roll. And I do have another camera, like I said, so I'll set up another camera and either shoot video or maybe some stills, but okay, definitely dark on top there. So yeah, we're gonna let this one roll. When this video clip ends, I will recheck the focus, I think. But anyway, it looks pretty darn sharp to me on the back of the screen here, but could be slightly off. partially eclipsed at the top there. And we're using a Nikkor AF Nikkor, actually, 300mm f4 lens with a Tamron SP AF teleconverter model 300F-FNS. So that brings the focal lengths up to 600mm, so it's comparatively large as the viewfinder. I'm realizing I probably should have the moon more towards the center, because it's actually setting at a fairly steep angle right now. But anyway, we'll just keep this running for a bit. And this, it says the F is 7.1, but I think that's the actual F number. So it's more like 14. I assume, and the shutter speed is the 50th of a second. I have the color balance set to cloudy, which might make the moon a little browner than it actually is. But so yeah, coming down through the frame relatively quickly, definitely darker on top there. Yeah, we're just gonna let this run, but I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it because it's gonna move through the frame fairly quickly. In fact, I'm thinking it might be best to start. Oh, okay, yeah, see, look at the top there, definitely getting darker and darker. I guess I was thinking of changing the color balance to sunlight. I thought that might be a little too on the cool side, though. Clearly seeing the moon partially eclipsed here as it moves through the frame. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let it move through the frame till it gets near the bottom, and then without ending the clip, we'll let the camera just continue to just reposition so it continues to come down through the frame. Yeah, you can clearly see there the dark shadow at the top. So I'm going to go look at my other camera and come back here. I see it's getting close to the bottom here fairly quickly because it is a pretty powerful lens. But I do have another camera running with a 400mm lens. I want to see how that's going. Okay, so you might have heard me in the background narrating to the other camera. But yeah, we're getting to the bottom of the frame, so we're just going to reposition here. We're going to move a bit off to the left, raise the camera somewhat, and we'll let the moon continue to descend through the frame. So, well, we only got about 3 minutes of recording time left. So maybe I will change things up a bit. Let's move this a little further left. Let's raise the camera a bit. And let's, I think, just start a new clip.